Why does Taco Bell give everyone the shits? Why do you have two cheese-filled, spicy, savory, tortilla wrappers wrapped up in the middle of the family-sized tortilla? Why do I have to bite a chunk off, remove a chip from my two-layer taco and then eat the tortilla in the middle? Why? 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 Now I don't know if there's a technical term for this. Forgive me, if there is, I will use it at some point in this blog. However, I feel it's important to bring it to the light. My blood sugars are never consistent when I eat Mexican food. The first bite goes down, high. The second bite goes down, but stays high for a while. Then it all comes out. I crave Mexican food, but I never know what kind of blood sugars to expect. We're not talking low blood sugars where you can take action to correct. We're talking wacky ass, crazy ass, I'm going to take another bite and see what happens type of blood sugars. Even if I sit at the computer and look up the history for Mexican food. It doesn't matter. It's never consistent. I can eat. But it wouldn't be possible. After I eat that shit goes off in a liquefied slush and it drains all your water in your system. Dr. Lee prescribed Pepto-Bismol would have answered in any which way, but that didn't work, did it? Glad I'm not a doctor. What I discovered is that I should be drinking skim milk to boost the protein content. Not chugging down soy milk and low-fat cheese. I think I may be onto something here. After I finished all my classes and everything was over, I was required to go on a service trip. My school was going to Hawaii, a month-long trip that required some bonding on the plane to come out, and seeing as how my school is so far up north of the island they were leaving, it wasn't very much. After landing, I had a little bit of an issue with my fuel gauge. By little bit, I mean I wasn't certain that I'd make it to the next available gas station to fill up. Apparently my car doesn't like to go below 40. My mom wasn't taking too well to this fact and she wasn't ill. Hey, we're talking about tacos here. I'm sure you all know what tacos means. The whole situation was deflating and my excitement was coming down. I started to get a little bit of a panic attack and started to look for an alternate route home. I don't think my parents liked the idea of driving across the island in what would eventually become a 3-hour trip with just gas, no food, and no snacks. Finally, after I called my mom asking her to pick me up in 3 hours, she was like, "Fine, what the heck. See you in 5. So after that, my parents and I spent the next 5 days in Waikiki, eating and riding around in a golf cart. I went to Honolulu and I saw most of the tourist places there. And of course there's pictures. Stick around, I've got more pictures coming. Then, one day, on our last full day, we decided to explore. We went to Oahu Memorial Park. This day was on the more frigid side and I wasn't feeling great. I was getting sick. I had the chills, I felt bloated and hot at the same time, I felt miserable. We were there for a couple of hours, my parents and I. We walked around a little bit, checked out some of the local shops. Then we found a tree that had turned a dark green and there were some butterflies flying, just fluttering around me. All I thought I had to do is to regain focus of being distracted from shitting myself. It was a kind of surreal moment, for me. I felt bad. I felt embarrassed. But all of a sudden, when I'm distracted, things get better. I managed to walk around for the rest of the time I was at the park, although my legs were in pain from walking around the entire park. We had a great time, as I mentioned before, my parents were so sweet and nice and caring and wonderful. We laughed and joked and they let me watch as much TV as I wanted. But it was too sudden, the grumbles started, I hurried to the bathroom and then this happened. My mom was in there, and I was on the brink of making brown soup in my pants. This is why you need a toilet. This is why you need to sit on the toilet. You need to do what you do to protect your body. 'Cause in the back of your mind, you know it won't last long, because you have no control over your bowels. But the moment you can push and release, you do. I pushed and it all came out. Poo and pee, and the only thing in between was liquid. I was relieved that I wasn't full of shit, and now I was shitting out the grumbles, the pains, the crap and everything else that was in my body. I was laughing at how ridiculous and gross it was, and I was celebrating it. Then I suddenly felt incredibly grateful and blessed that I got to experience that. Even though the experience was less than the second best one of my life, it was still a great one, and for that I was glad. I would rather go through that and realize what a happy place my body can go to, than have a taco in my system. Now that was fucking bad.